All right, so in this lesson, we're going to look at graphing a line by finding the x and y intercepts. So if we look at a coordinate plane, and let's say I draw a line that looks like this, and I'm going to go and extend it. So you see where this line intersects. Remember, this is the y-axis right here, and this is the x-axis. So the vertical line that you see here, that's the y-axis, and the horizontal line here, that's the x-axis. So you see where this line right here intersects this y-axis here? That point is called the y-intercept. All right, so that point's called the y-intercept. So remember, the y-intercept is the point where the graph crosses the y-axis. Okay, so that's the y-intercept. Over here, see this point here where the graph crosses the x-axis? So that point is called the x-intercept. All right, so the x-intercept. And the x-intercept is the point where the graph, or the line I should say, where the line of the graph, let me put the word line, where the line crosses the x-axis. Okay, so the y-intercept is where the line or this graph crosses the y-axis. The x-intercept right here is where it crosses the x-axis. All right, now a couple of things we need to talk about though before we actually look at a problem, and that's this. So remember the y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So if I look at any point that's on the y-axis, okay, any point, and I'm using some nice points here. I'm using the points where I see those integers. And if I label all of those points, if I label all of them, okay, I want you to notice something. You see this point right here? And you can't see it very well because it's very small, but that's a 3. So if I state the coordinates of this point, remember here's the origin. So since I'm staying there and I'm moving straight up, that means my x-coordinate is 0, right? So my x-coordinate is 0. And then my y-coordinate is 1, 2, 3. So that's the point 0, 3. If I look at this one here that I'm pointing to, I would say 0, 5, right? 0, 5. If I look at, let's say, this one here, that's an 8. If I look at this one here, the coordinates of this point would be 0. Remember, I always start at the origin. 0, 8. And I want you to notice something. If I look at all these coordinates of all these points that's on the y-axis, they all have the same x-coordinate, don't they? They all have 0 as the x-coordinate. So that brings us this idea. To find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equal 0. All right? So to find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equal 0. And if I look at the x-axis, so let's do the x-axis this time. So if I look at any point that's on the x-axis, and I'm choosing some nice points here. If I look at any point that's on the x-axis, let's look at those coordinates. So let's look at this coordinate right here. Then now that's an 8. So if I label those coordinates, remember start of the origin. So that's the origin right here, right? And I'm going to the right 8, and then I stop there. I don't go up or down. So that means that I went to the right 8, so that means that my x-coordinate is 8. Since I did not go up or down, that means my y value is 0. So if I look at this one here, see that's a 2 right here. So if I look at this one there and I state the coordinates, I start the origin, I go to the right 2, and I stay there. I don't go up or down. So that means that my x-coordinate is 2 and my y-coordinate is 0. If I look at this point here, now that's a negative 4. So I'm going to go to the left 4. So that means that my x-coordinate is negative 4. And since I'm staying on the x-axis, I'm not moving up or down, that means my y-coordinate is 0. So just like we did with those points that's on the y-axis, let's look at those points that's on the x-axis. What do they have in common? If you look at the y-coordinates, they all have the same y-coordinate, don't they? They have the y-coordinate being 0. So that brings us to this idea. To find the x-intercept, you're going to let y equals 0. All right, because no matter where you are on the x-axis, my y-coordinate is always 0. To find the x-intercept, to find the y-intercept, you let x equal 0. Because no matter where you are on the y-axis, your x-coordinate is always 0. All right, so let's look at an example now. All right, so now that you know what we mean by x-intercepts and y-intercepts, and now that you know how to find those x-intercepts and y-intercepts, let's look at a problem. All right, so number 1. So let's suppose that number 1, and the directions will say this. Graph each line by finding the x and y-intercept. All right, now watch how simple this is. So here's number 1. So number 1, we have 2x plus y equal 10. 2x plus y equal 10. All right, so I have this equation of a line, and notice I have 2 variables. So that's always the easy kind when you have an equation of a line and you have 2 variables. And I want you to notice the exponents. The exponent is x to the first, and then here it's the exponent is 1, y to the first. So that's a linear equation. And in the word linear, you see the word line. So if you were to graph this equation, it would be a line. Now to graph a line, we really just need 2 points. So 2 points of the line to graph a line. So in this case, here are my 2 points, my x-intercept and my y-intercept. So those are the 2 points I'm going to use. Now always follow directions. Directions says to graph this line by finding those intercepts. Where does the graph cross the x-axis? Where does the graph cross the y-axis? All right, so here's your process. So the first thing you're going to do, and let's do it like this. I'm going to write it out like this. First, find the x-intercept. So let's go ahead and find where the graph crosses the x-axis. Now remember, to find the x-intercept, to find where the graph crosses the x-axis, I'm going to let y equal 0. So write it out. Always write it out. It helps to write it out because you tend to remember it better when you keep writing things out like this. So to find the x-intercept, let y equal 0. All right, now what does that mean? Well, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this over to show you. So there's my equation. So that means that wherever I see the variable y, I'm going to substitute 0. So here's what we have. We have 2x plus y. Well, remember, y is 0, right? Equal 10. And then combine like terms, 2x plus 0 is 2x equal 10. And to get x by itself, right now multiplying x by 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2 and then simplify. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times x is x. And I get x to be 10 divided by 2, which is 5. That is your x-intercept. So the x-intercept is, and depending on how they want you to write it, let's look at how you can write the x-intercept. All right, so you could say this. So you could say the x-intercept is x equal 5. Okay, so the x-intercept is x equal 5, or you can say is just 5. The x-intercept is 5, which means, let me just tell you what that means, which means the point, and make sure when you label this as a point, that's important. You label this as a point, you put it correctly. So remember, your first coordinate is your x, and your second coordinate is the y. Well, I just found out what x is, right? X equal 5, so I'm going to put that here. And then we know what the y-coordinate is. The y-coordinate is 0, because that's how I found it. And so there's the point. So the x-intercept is 5, which means the point 50 is a point on the line. Okay, and so far I have this. Let me show you. So let's go ahead and plot the point 50. So I'm graphing 2x plus y equal 10. All right, so 50 is right here. So there's the point. So I'm going to go ahead and label it 5, 0. That's that point. So there's my x-intercept. That's where the graph's going to cross the x-axis. Now let's find the y-intercept. So the second thing we're going to do is find the y-intercept. Now remember, to find the y-intercept, you're going to remember what the y-intercept is. So wherever the graph crosses the y-axis, if you look at any point on the y-axis, your x-coordinate is always 0. So to find the y-intercept, let x equal 0. So to find the y-intercept, let x equal 0. So what does that mean? Well, that means that when I go back to my equation, which is this, wherever I see the variable x, I'm going to substitute 0. So look, I get an x right here, right? So you have 2 times 0 plus y equal 10. All right, and then 2 times 0 is 0. So 0 plus y equal 10. 0 plus y is y, so y equal 10. So you got y by itself. So that means that the y-intercept, the point where the graph crosses the y-axis, is 10, okay? Which also means that the point, the ordered pair, now remember, y is 10, so make sure you put y in the right place. So 10 goes here in the y coordinate place, and x was 0. So you get 0, 10. So which means the point 0, 10 is a point on the line. So let's go ahead and plot that point. Let's go ahead and plot the point. And notice, so 10's right here, right? So 0, 10, 0, 10. So that's right here. So that's where the graph crosses the y-axis. So that's 0, 10. And now we're going to use a ruler. If I can find my ruler real quick, we're going to use the ruler to draw this line. Let me go ahead and find the ruler. All right, so use a straight edge to help you. So let me go ahead and draw the line through those 2 points. Looks like this. All right, and then just draw the line. All right, now make sure when you draw the line you put arrows on both ends, because remember, a line has arrows, right? It goes in both directions. All right, so there's your line. Notice the y-intercept and the x-intercept. And that's a graph. That's a graph of this line right here. Not difficult, right? Just being able to use the fact that to find the y-intercept, let x equal 0. To find the x-intercept, let y equal 0. That's all it is. A very simple process, isn't it? Let's look at another. Let's look at number 2. So number 2, we have this equation, number 2. And you want to graph x minus 3y equal negative 9. X minus 3y equal negative 9. So let's first of all find the x-intercept. So first, find the x-intercept. Now remember, to find where the graph crosses the x-axis, you're going to let y equal 0. So what does that mean? Well, that means that if I go back to my equation right here, and where we see the variable y, I'm going to substitute 0. So here's the variable y right here, right? So I'm going to substitute 0 there. So I get x minus 3 times 0 equal negative 9. 3 times 0 is 0, so I get x minus 0 equal negative 9. X minus 0 is x, so x equal negative 9. So what I found is the x-intercept. So the x-intercept is negative 9, which means that the point, now remember, they're probably going to ask you to write this as an ordered pair, so make sure you put this in the right order. So x goes first, y goes second. So I found my x, negative 9, so that goes here. And I know my y was 0, so that goes here. So which means the point negative 9, 0 is on the line. Okay, and then I just graph that. So let's see what we have so far. So negative 9, 0, right? So here is negative 9, 0 right here. So there's the point, negative 9, 0. So remember, you start at the origin, you go to the left 9, and then since y is 0, that means you stay there. You stay on the x-axis. So negative 9, 0. All right, so now let's find so remember, to graph a line, you need 2 points. So far, I only have 1. So I'm going to find the other point by finding the y-intercept. So let's find the y-intercept. So second, to find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equal 0 this time, right? Let x equal 0. And so go back to our equation, x minus 3y equal negative 9. And this time where we see the variable x, I'm going to substitute 0. So I get 0 minus 3y equal negative 9. Now be careful. So 0 minus 3y is a negative 3y, right? So I get negative 3y equal negative 9. And you get x by itself. Right now I'm multiplying y, to get y by itself. I'm multiplying y by negative 9. The opposite is to divide by negative 3, negative 3. And then simplifying, negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. 1 times y is y. And I get negative 9 divided by negative 3 is a positive 3. So there's your y-intercept. So the y-intercept, so I can write it like this, the y-intercept is 3, which means that the point, so if you're asked to write this as a point, remember this is your y, this is your x. So x is 0, y is 3. Make sure you put it in the right order. Ordered pair, x coordinate, y coordinate. So the point 0, 3 is on the line. And now let's go ahead and graph that point 0, 3. So 0, 3, so 0 I stay the origin, 3 I go up 3, so it's right here, right? So that's the point 0, 3. And then use your straight edge to draw the line, and so here's the line. So we get this line right here, so let's go ahead and draw that line like this. Draw your arrow, don't forget to do that, draw your arrow, and that's it, there's your line. So that is the graph of the equation, and the equation is x minus 3y equal negative 9. So not difficult, right? A fairly simple process. Not difficult at all. Okay. Let's look at number 3. So number 3, we have this for number 3. All right, so we have this equation. We have 3x plus 5y equal 15. 3x plus 5y equal 15. All right, so now let's go ahead and find the x and the y-intercepts. So to find, first we're going to find the x-intercept. So to find the x-intercept, you're going to let y equal 0. All right, because remember, wherever you are, wherever the graph crosses the, what we're finding first, x-intercept. So where we're finding the x-intercept, the y-coordinate is always 0 on the x-axis. All right, so that means this. That means if I go back to my equation, 3x plus 5y equal 15, wherever you see the variable y, I'm going to substitute 0. So I'm going to substitute 0 for this. So I get 3x plus 5 times 0 equal 15. Well, 5 times 0 is 0, so I get 3x plus 0 equal 15, right? 3x plus 0 is 3x, I get 3x equal 15. To get x by itself, right now multiplying x by 3, so the opposite is to divide by 3, and then simplify. 3 divided by 3 is 1, 1 times x is x, so I get x to be 15 divided by 3, which is 5. So I found the x-intercept, so the x-intercept is 5, which means the point, remember x and y, so which means the point 5, 0, 0 is on the line. Okay, now let's find, so the second thing you're going to do is you're going to find the y-intercept. So to find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equals 0 this time. So that means you go back to your equation, 3x plus 5y equal 15, and this time where we see the variable x, you're going to substitute 0. All right, so let's go and do that. So I get 3 times 0 plus 5y equal 15. 3 times 0 is 0, right? And then 0 plus 5y equal 15. 0 plus 5y is 5y equal 15. And to get y by itself, right now you're multiplying by 5. So the opposite is to divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times y is y. And 15 divided by 5 is 3. So there's your y-intercept. So the y-intercept is 3, which means the point, and remember, always make sure you put it in as an ordered pair, so x, y, so x is 0, y is 3, so which means the point 0, 3 is on the line. All right, and then let's go ahead and graph it. All right, so let me go ahead and graph this. So remember your x-intercept is 5, and your y-intercept is 3. All right, so x-intercept is 5 right here. and your y-intercept is 3 right here. Let's go ahead and label this. So this is 5, 0, and this right here is 0, 3. And then use your straight edge to draw that line, and that is the graph of that equation. Not difficult, right? Not difficult at all. All right, so that's the equation 3x plus 5y equal 15. All right, so that was number 3. Not a difficult process. Fairly simple. Okay, let's look at number 4. All right, number 4, we have, let's see, we have negative 5x plus 4y equal 14. So negative 5x plus 4y equal 14. Okay, so let's go ahead and same thing. We're going to find the x and y intercepts. So to find, first thing we're going to do is find the x-intercept. Find x-intercept. And so to find the x-intercept, you're going to let y equal 0. All right, so that means that if I go back to my equation, which is this, my linear equation, wherever I see the variable y, I'm going to substitute 0. So I get negative 5x plus 4 times 0 equal 14. Well, 4 times 0 is 0, right? So I get negative 5x plus 0 equal 14. Negative 5x plus 0 is still negative 5x equal 14. All right, now, so in the previous problems, I ended up with a nice value for the intercept. It was an integer. This is not going to be an integer here, but we can still deal with this. So to get x by itself, I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by negative 5. And then the negative 5's divide out. 1 times x is x. I get x to be negative 14 fifths. Now, see, this is written as an improper fraction, right? So that's an improper fraction. So remember, negative 14 fifths is an improper fraction. So the numerator 14, forget about the negative for right now, but the numerator 14 is greater than or equal to the denominator. So that makes an improper fraction. What we want to do here is we want to change this to a mixed number. That's going to be important. So if I change that to a mixed number, that's going to be, remember how to change this to a mixed number. You're going to say 5 into 14. So 5 goes into 14 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10 with the remainder 4. So my mixed number is going to be 2n 4 fifths. So that's a negative 2n 4 fifths. All right? All right. Now you may say, well, how do you graph that? Well, it's not that difficult. It's fairly simple. But let's go ahead and write this as an ordered pair. So there's your x-intercept, right? So the x-intercept is negative 2 and 4 fifths, which means the point, remember this is x, this is y. So which means the point negative 2 and 4 fifths, comma 0, is on the line. All right, so let me show you how to graph this. So negative 2 and 4 fifths. So here's what I would do. All right, so here's 0. Remember, I'm trying to plot the point negative 2, 4 fifths, comma 0. So here's 0, here's negative 1, here's negative 2, here's negative 3, right? Okay, you have to recognize that 4 fifths is close to negative 3. Negative 2 and 4 fifths is close to negative 3. So as best you can, draw a dot, put a dot very close to that negative 3. See how I did it? It's not exactly on negative 3, but it's close to it. And I have a pretty thick pin here, so it makes it look like it's very close to it. But it's not supposed to be on it, so don't make it look like it's on it. All right, see how it looks? So negative 2, negative 3, and 4 fifths is close to negative 3. All right, so that's the way I would do that. All right, now remember, it's not a half, so a half is right here, so you got to go closer to the other side, okay? All right, now let's go ahead and find the y-intercept this time. All right, so second, we're going to find the y-intercept. And to find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equal 0. So I'm going back to my equation, and wherever, so here's my equation, and so wherever I saw the variable x, I'm going to substitute 0. So I got negative 5 times 0 plus 4y equal 14. Negative 5 times 0 is 0, so I get 0 plus 4y equal 14. Now 0 plus 4y is 4y, right? Equal 14. and dividing both sides by 4 to get y by itself. Now, here's how you're going to do that. First of all, remember, 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times y is y. Now, remember, you have 14/4, right? Now, here, this is important. You have to reduce this. 14 and 4 are both even, and they're divisible by 2. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And so as a mixed number, remember 2 divided into 7 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Remainder 1. So that's 3 and 1/2. So there's your y-intercept. So the y-intercept is 3 and 1/2. And then as an ordered pair, that means that the point, remember this is x, this is y, right here. So which means the point 0, 3.5 is on the line. All right, so let's go ahead and plot the point 3.5, the y-intercept 3.5. All right, so 3.5. Now that's a little bit easier to deal with because you know where a half is, right? So here's 1, 2, 3. So 2.5 is right in the middle between 2 and 3, isn't it? So right in the middle between 2 and 3, put a little dot there. So this is the point 0, 2.5. And this is a point here, and I think it was negative 2 4/5. So this is the point right here, negative 2 4/5, comma 0. And then use your straight edge. To graph this. And so there is the graph of the line, and the line is negative 5x plus 4y equal 14. So that's how you deal with intercepts that are not exactly integers. They're not integers. They're mixed numbers. All right, or it could be a proper fraction. It doesn't have to be a mixed number. It could be a proper fraction, like let's say 1/2, and not 3.5. All right, so that was number 4. Let's look at one or two more. Let's look at number 5. All right, so here's number 5. Number 5, let's suppose we had this. We had 4x minus 5y equal 10. So 4x minus 5y equal 10. So I'm going to graph this line using intercepts. So let's first of all find the x-intercept. So to find the x-intercept, you're going to let y equal 0. All right, so what does that mean? Well, that means I go to my equation, 4x minus 5y equal 10, and wherever I see the variable y, I substitute 0. So you get 4x minus 5 times 0 equal 10. 5 times 0 is 0, right? So 4x minus 0 equal 10. 4x minus 0 is 4x, so 4x equal 10. All right, now don't let it throw you off, just like the previous problem did not throw you off. To get x by itself, you can divide both sides by 4. All right, 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times x is x, so I get 10/4. So just like the previous problem, we talked about it. I want you to remember this. Remember here we had 14/4, right? So I reduced. They're both divisible by 2. They're both even. Same thing here. They're both even, so that's going to be 10 divided by 2 is 5. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So as a mixed number, see that's improper right here. So the this is a mixed number. You're going to say 2 into 5 is 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4 with the remainder 1. So you get 2 and 1/2. So this becomes 2 and 1/2. So there's your x-intercept. So the x-intercept is 2 and 1/2. And as an ordered pair, you would say the point 2 and 1/2, comma 0 is on the line. All right. Now let's go ahead and find the y-intercept. So let's find the y-intercept. So second, I'm going to find the y-intercept. And to find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equals 0. So here's the equation again. 4x minus 5y equals 10. And so this time in place of x, I'm going to substitute 0. So I get 4 times 0 minus 5y equal 10. 4 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 5y equal 10, right? Now remember, 0 minus 5y is a negative 5y. So I get negative 5y equals 10. Now to get y by itself, you can divide both sides by that coefficient. So you're multiplying, so the opposite of multiplication is division. So divide both sides by negative 5, just like this. What you do one side, you do to the other. So negative 5 divided by negative 5 is 1. 1 times y is y, equal 10 divided by negative 5 is a negative 2. So there's your y-intercept. So the y-intercept is negative 2, which means the point, remember it's x, y, which means the point 0, negative 2 is on the line. And then we graph this, and watch how simple this is. It's not difficult at all. So let's go ahead and graph the, let me pull it down a little. So let's go ahead and plot the x-intercept, 2.5. So remember, that's where the graph crosses the x-axis. So here's 1, 2, and then a half. A half is always easy because you know where a half is between two numbers. So that's right in the middle between, 2.5, I'm sorry, 2.5 right here. So there's 2.5 right here, not this. All right, so that is the point here, 2.5, comma 0. All right, so that's the, right here, that's the x-intercept. Now the y-intercept, that's easy because both of those are integers, 0, negative 2. So that's right here. All right, so that's the point 0, negative 2. And then you just draw your line that goes through those intercepts, and there's the graph. Okay, but don't forget to draw your 2 arrows. And so that's the equation of the line, 4x minus 5y equal 10. All right, so let's do one more. All right, so I think you're getting this. Not difficult at all. It's a very simple process. You got this. And then finally, number 6. Let's suppose we had negative 8x plus 5y equal negative 16. Let's go through the process. Remember, x and y intercepts. So let's first of all find the x-intercept. Now remember, to find the x-intercept, you're going to let y equal 0. So that means that when you go back to your equation, which is negative 8x plus 5y equal negative 16, in place of y, here I'm going to substitute 0. So I got negative 8x plus 5 times 0 equal negative 16. 5 times 0 is 0, right? So I get negative 8x plus 0 equal negative 16. Negative 8x plus 0 is a negative 8x, and that's equal to negative 16. And then to get x by itself, right now I'm multiplying by negative 8. So the opposite of multiplying by negative 8 is to divide by negative 8. So the coefficient of x is negative 8. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 8, just like this. What you do to one side, you do to the other. And so negative 8 divided by negative 8 is 1. 1 times x is x, which is what you wanted. You wanted x by itself, equal a negative 16 divided by negative 8 is a positive 2. So the x-intercept is 2, which means the point 2, 0 is on the line. All right, now, second thing you're going to do is you're going to find the y-intercept. Okay, the y-intercept. Now remember, to find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equal 0, right? Let x equal 0. So let me go ahead and write the equation, negative 8x plus 5y equal negative 16. And in place of x, you're going to substitute 0. Okay, so remember, to find the y-intercept, you let x equal 0. So negative 8 times 0 plus 5y equal negative 16. Negative 8 times 0 is 0. And so 0 plus 5y equal negative 16. Notice the steps. 0 plus 5y is 5y equal negative 16. And then one more step and you're done with finding the y-intercept. So to get y by itself, right now you're multiplying y by 5. So you can divide both sides by 5, just like this. Y divided by 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times y is y equal. Let's go ahead and write this as a mixed number. 5 into 16. 5 goes to 16 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15 with a remainder of 1. So I get negative 3 and 1/5. Negative 3 and 1/5. Okay, now, so there's your y-intercept. So the y-intercept, now it's a mixed number, so you have to estimate where this is. So the y-intercept is negative 3 and 1/5, which means that the point, remember x, y, x is 0, y is negative 3 and 1/5. So it means the point 0, negative 3 and 1/5 is on the line. All right, now let's go ahead and graph this. Okay, so this is the easy point right here, right? The x-intercept is 2. So that's nice. So here's the x-intercept, 0, 2 right here, right? So that's 2, comma, 0. So start the origin, 0, and then that says your x is 2, so it means you go to the right 2. Since y is 0, you stay at the x-axis. All right, now the y-intercept is negative 3 1/5. So you have to estimate where that 1/5 is. But remember, you're going to go 1, down 3. 1, 2, 3, and then you go 1/5. So that's 4. So you know that 1/5 is closer to 3. It's not 3.5, right? It's less than that. So let's go ahead and estimate it to be here, let's say. All right. So don't put it at 3. Just make sure it doesn't look like it's actually on negative 3, but close to it. All right. So there's the point, 0, negative 3, and 1/5. And so use your straight edge, draw the line, and you're done. All right. And don't forget to draw your arrows. And there's the graph. Negative 8x plus 5y equal negative 16. And that was it. So that is the lesson on graphing a line by finding the x and y intercept. So remember to find the x-intercept, let y equals 0, and then to find the y-intercept, let x equal 0. It's not difficult, fairly simple process. All right, so that's the end of this lesson.